those seed catalogs are going to be rolling in, right?
Oh, man, I love it.
Right?
I love it.
But the thing about the seed catalog, it's a lot of information.
It is.
So how do we read it?
Well, let me tell you first. It won't be long till your mailbox will be stuffed full of these beautifully photographed, glossy pages and pages of all these perfect plants. And I get to looking at them, and I'm supposed to be an experienced gardener. I get to looking at them, and I just go into some kind of trance and start making lists.
Right. I think we all do that.
Yeah, and I read somewhere that inexperienced gardeners or novice gardeners always order too many seed. Well, I'm here to tell you, experienced gardeners do it too.
They do it too.
You wind up with 5,000 seed of something, and But I want to talk first about why catalogs versus your nursery.
Okay, good.
Your local nursery. Good. And there's pros and cons for both.
Okay.
The catalogs, you get to see the picture of it in flower or maturity or whatever it looks like. You get to see the picture. And you also get more variety. You get a larger selection of things in these catalogs than you would probably at your local nursery.
Okay.
So at a nursery, though, you're going to get personal knowledge, local knowledge, and you're going to get larger plants. You're going to get bigger plants, than what you could order online, that kind of thing. And you may, based on the size, you may get a better deal than ordering a little shrub, through the mail or something. But thing is, though, that you can't find some things other than in catalogs.
Gotcha.
So, like I say, there's pros and cons.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
And also, there's all kinds of catalogs. I mean, all kinds. And I brought some examples today, and you can have seed catalogs that devote it to nothing but seeds. Then you have catalogs that are live plants, like perennials, and things like that. You have catalogs that are just heirloom, maybe, or you have a regional catalog that's just for the Southeast or wherever, which is good because that keeps us from ordering stuff that's not hardy, hopefully, and you get heirloom. There's heirloom plant catalogs. There's bulb catalogs. There's garden tools and accessories catalogs. I mean, you name it, everything's out. And there's combinations of all these too. And then you have the specialty plant catalogs like daylilies and irises and all this good stuff that's just that one plant. And you get hundreds of pictures of these wonderful looking plants. So, and you get new plant introductions. Every catalog that has plants, seeds, in the first few pages is their new plant introductions.
Which are always cool to see.
Oh, yeah.
I like those.
I mean, I really, you got to try something new every year, But there's a lot of new things you can look at in those new plant introductions. So it's always fun to learn about those.
Okay.
So, the next thing, I guess, is to talk about the information that you get.
Yeah, because it's a lot of information.
Oh, man, it is a lot. Yeah. And some catalogs are better than others. And there's tables and charts. And one thing that I always look at, because when you go to the plant itself and you look at the plant description, whether it's a seed plant or something you're going to order the seed or it's a live plant, it'll give you a little description about it. And a lot of times they'll have these codes.
Right.
Like a sun or an S or a P or something, and you're looking at it going, what does that mean? Well, you go to the front and they usually have a key that tells you, this is needs the sun, or this is a plant that's perennial or whatever,
Well, give us an example of one of the plant information of one of the varieties of
well, let's
fruits
pick
that you have.
tomato.
Okay, let's pick tomato.
Everybody grows tomatoes. Usually that's their first vegetable they're going to grow. So let's look at one called Mountain Fresh Plus as the description of this plant that we're going to order the seed. It's an F1 hybrid. Okay. You have yield in 75 days from planting. And then here's these codes we were talking about, using those. It is highly resistant to F2, N, and V. Well, you're going, what is that?
What is that?
Well, that's when we flip back over here to the big chart that tells you what all those codes stand for. It could be V for virus. There's just TMV is tomato mosaic virus. So you have to look over here to know that if you have trouble with diseases in your area, you definitely want to pick one that's resistant, and this will help you do that by reading these descriptions. It's able to tolerate cold and wet conditions. It's a big red tomato, produces attractive 8 to 16 ounce slicers with good flavor. Vigorous plants, plenty of leaf color. and you can buy 100 seeds for $4.75, or you could buy 1,000. So, and also you have this chart down here in your tomato section of this catalog. You have a comparison chart of the tomatoes, like for disease resistance, their features, their firmness, days to harvest, all kinds of things. So that's a big help too, you know, if you want to compare them. So it's always good to look at the key, and then you can understand the plant better and get more information so you can make a good decision and not go off on a tangent and just order everything that looks pretty. So there's also, some of the seed catalogs have things like actually how to save the seed, which is a great thing that I didn't know was in some of these catalogs until you told me this is what I was going to talk about. And I got to pulling out all my old catalogs, and I said, man, I never saw that. You know, this tells you how to collect the seed and how to save it. And it gives days to germination, you know, what it needs for pollinators, the life cycle, all kinds of information.
That's a lot of good information.
So oh yeah,
because a lot of people are saving seeds these days, you know.
Yeah, you know, so that's a good thing, you know,
and
it tells you whether it's an heirloom or organic. There's just tons of info, and you just got to sit down and spend time and look at these things and study them, like kind of like a textbook, really. Because they'll have germination rates, which is good. Germination soil temperatures, which is good. Because you'll think, man, I can't plant this now. The ground's too, you know, direct seed stuff. So there's just there's recipes. I even found a salsa recipe that I didn't know was in there. So I mean, there's just tons of stuff. So take time and look at that, and then you make a more informed decision.
And the thing about taking the time is, you get these seed catalogs in the winter.
Yeah.
When there's not much going on, you know,
sit
in
in front of the fire and just get, like I say, your eyes just glaze over, you know, or mine does. But the thing that I think people do is kind of go a little crazy, and we all do. We look at all these plants and wind up buying too much stuff, and I always encourage people to have a plan. You know, try to have a plan and say, okay, you know, I'm going to grow tomatoes, and I'm going to grow this, and I'm going to grow that, and then figure out, because these magazines tell you how many plants you need and the yield. So if you've got a big family, you know you need these many plants. Or days to harvest, it tells you that. So figure out what you need and try your best to limit yourself to that.
That's the hard part.
Because it really is. And I do it all the time. I always have too many seed, and I always carry them over from year to year, which is not, in most cases, the best thing to do because they lose their viability. So have a plan and then figure out how you're going to order it. Sometimes online is the best because it's fast. Phone, order blanks. Earlier the better.
Earlier the better.
Earlier the better, because they run out of these things early that are real popular, like the new selections. And if you order early, you're going to get the best selection, and you're going to get some early bird discounts from these catalogs, a lot of them, to encourage you, you know, to order early. So go wild.
Yeah, go wild. Yeah, but have a plan.
Yeah, have a plan, but you know, you can go a little wild too.
A little wild. Now that's good stuff, Doc, especially now with the many new gardeners that are out there. You better order early.
So it's a good idea to utilize a lot of these magazines, and if you want to go to your local nursery after utilizing all of these and see if they have the plants, you know, these are good sources, like I say, to help you figure out what you want and if it fits what you need in your climate.
Good deal, Doc. It's good information. Yeah, grab that and send it in front of your fire. You'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Thank you much.
Chocolate.
Yeah, hot chocolate. Yeah, that would be good. Thank you. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please click the subscribe button below.